It looks like Aston Villa are going to start very strong in this January transfer window. We've been linked with a right winger who was a Champions League finalist last season and one of the best up-and-coming centre-backs in world football. Stick around to find out all about it. But first, please do leave a like, subscribe on the video if you are new around here. We're floating at about 80% of people not subscribed to the videos. Let's bring that down to 75 and grow the best Villa channel on YouTube. But let's talk the January transfer window. And we are going to be talking about two players today. Throw the tweet up on the screen from the big man himself, Fabrizio Romano. Aston Villa are chasing Borussia Dortmund right winger Daniel MALEN. And of course, we've probably heard about this guy. I'm sure you all have. I know I have. Very, very much a bit of a wonder kid back in the Eredivisie. Gone over to the Bundesliga with Borussia Dortmund, and it hasn't particularly worked out for him. It has to an extent, like I say, Champions League finalist alongside Ian Maatsen last season, and has shown glimpses of brilliance. Now, the deal is reported, again, I'll throw it up on the screen, to be at around the €20 million mark. He's currently on about 90 grand a week at Dortmund and does primarily play on the right-hand side of a front three. So kind of does fit how we're looking to play, especially if we are going to be moving into that 4-2-3-1 formation where we do have that right winger, Leon Bailey, not firing this season. But let's have a little bit of a deeper look at Daniel MALEN. We go across to the trusty foot mob, and we can see all about possibly our new right winger. This season, he has primarily played on that right-hand side. Like I say, again, that market value has kind of gone down. He's out of favour at Borussia Dortmund, and again, we're looking at around the £20 million mark or €20 million mark. He's about 8 foot tall, blimey, 6 foot tall, rather, 179, so 5'10", 5'11"-ish, 25 years of age, due to be 26 this January, so should be coming into 4-5 years of his prime. Now, he is rapid as well, by the way. I haven't mentioned that. He is rapido fire. This season, 13 games, only managed 6 starts, getting 3 goals for Dortmund. Overall in his career, you can see PSV Eindhoven, 55 goals in 116 games. For Dortmund, it hasn't particularly worked out, like I have mentioned, 39 in 131. If we go down to this season, though, you'll see his 3 goals and his 2.85 expected goals actually put him around the top 20th percentile. So it's not terrible by any means at all. Passing does leave something to be desired. I'm sure Emery will be looking at that and wanting him to improve on that. Again, his dribble success rate leaves something to be desired this season, but he has been hit and miss this season, and that's the kind of feeling I get from seeing Bundesliga fans on Twitter talking about this signing. And defensively, again, doesn't leave a particularly sweet taste in the mouth. So if we look at last season in the Bundesliga, just to compare last season to this season, you can see it does paint a slightly better picture. 13 goals put him at the top of his position in that league, 9.55 expected goals, so outperforming that by quite a lot, as well as having 72 shots, 36 on target, so 36 shots on target, 13 goals, around just under 50% conversion rate is pretty good. Again, expected assists paint a decent picture, but those passing stats, I know that Emery will be looking for him to improve that. But the dribbling, again, if you're a little bit worried about his dribbling, I know that we're kind of used to Bambi on ice with Leon Bailey on the wing this season, but again, last season paints a lot of a better picture for Donny MALEN. 51%, 42 successful dribbles put him near the top 10 percentage for his position in that league. 128 touches in the opposition box, won a penalty, 24 fouls, and actually got back and got mucked in quite decently in defence as well. Personally, for me, this signing, if it's going to be as cheap as 20 million for a 25-year-old in his prime, a player that Emery clearly sees and thinks he can develop to solve our right-wing problems right now, it's hard to say no. Obviously, I'd prefer the likes of Tyler Dibbling, but I like this. I like this signing. I like it. It's a position that we have to solve right now, and it kind of does that. But I did say it was 2 signings that we have been heavily linked with. Now, this one, oddly enough, comes from DAZN Italy. I thought DAZN just streamed KSI versus Jake Paul. Turns out, no, they actually do cover a lot of football, especially in Serie A. And a player that's been heavily linked with Juve, that allegedly Aston Villa are in prime position to hijack a deal for, as you can see on the screen, is Antonio Silva, a 21-year-old Portuguese full international centre-back that currently plays for Benfica. Let's have a look at his stats. Despite his age, he is a player for right now. Not 4 years' time when he's 25, not even 3 years' time, 2 years' time when he's 23. He is a fully fledged senior football player right now. 187 centimetres tall. The only thing that is slightly strange about this signing to an extent is that he's a right-footed centre-back, right? We already have Ezri Konsa. I don't like the idea or thought of Konsa going across into a right-back position. Perhaps we're looking at Silva and Konsa together. The likelihood that Carlos is also sold. Pau Torres, Mings still nursing back from injury. Pau Torres could be out for the rest of the season. Perhaps we're just going for it right now. The deal was allegedly a loan with an option to buy for around 40 million, so would be on loan to us this season. In the Liga Portugal, 7 starts out of 7 games, a 7.6 match rating, a goal and an assist. You can see already racked up 107 senior appearances for the Benfica team and 17 caps for the Portugal national team as well. Does miss out on a fair few games. I believe he's been nursing a couple of injuries this season, but when he does play, you can see he generally tends to perform. If we go down here, you can see his goal puts him quite high up, his assist, pass accuracy. That's what Emery wants, right? We build up from the back. It's the main reason I think Pau Torres has managed to fluke his starting spot along with Mings' injury for as long as he has this season, because he's been really poor defensively, but he's so important to our build-up play from the back. 91.8%, 67.8% long ball percentage as well. It's exactly what Emery wants from a centre-back, right? This guy can build up from the back. That's all we need to know about. Dribbles, not too worried about it for a centre-back, to be honest. I'm a little bit worried about this. Only 7 tackles won, 50% success ratio, only 60% of his aerial duels won. We need an aerial presence in defence, but he does generally win 64% of his duels. It's not the worst thing in the world, right? If we go to last season, again, probably a bit of a breakout season for him in terms of men's senior football. Won the Super Cup as well as the League of Portugal as well in his career already. We can see 2 goals last season, so does enjoy getting forward and getting a goal or 2. Successful passes, 1,600 off of a 93% accuracy rate. That is insane. That is why we're interested in him. I would hazard a guess. 61% on his long balls, completing 78 of those as well. Dribbles are a lot more favourable to him last season, and his percentages, finally, something that we're kind of excited to see, because we defensively have been all over the shop this season, right? But he won 43 tackles last season, put him in the top pretty much 2% in the league. 67% of his tackles he won, 60% aerial duels. Again, I would like to see that up a little bit. Again, still winning near enough 70% of his duels, 136 of them, by the way, and 181 recoveries put him in the top 2nd percentile. Again, discipline-wise, 6 yellow cards, 0 reds. He's a wonder kid, right? He's meant to be the next big thing. Juve want him. Barcelona want him. If Aston Villa can do a deal, you wouldn't say no. Let's have a little bit of a recap. Donyell Malen and Antonio Silva. I'm going to try and overlay some clips of both of them, some highlights that have been created as I do this kind of final ending segment. Now, I've seen a lot of negativity around the Donyell Malen transfer on Twitter, and I kind of understand the frustrations, right? Defensively, we are so poor this season, right? We need to sort out our defence probably before anything else, but sometimes opportunities arise, and let's not forget that our conversion rate this season is also towards the bottom end of the league, where we're struggling to score goals. Even if we are creating chances, I think almost immediately back to our last game where we drew 2-2 with Brighton, 1-1 I think it was in the end. Oh no, it was 2-2. We should have had that game dead and buried. Ollie Watkins is not a clinical striker. John Duran is now out for the next couple of games. Rodgers, for all his greatness in front of goal, is not very clinical. He does score good goals, but actually not particularly clinical when it comes to finishing. Right? Leon Bailey, I don't know what he's doing this season. John McGinn isn't a goal-scoring attacking midfielder. And again, John McGinn's been playing on the wing for a majority of this season. He's got no goals this season. Yuri Tielemans, for all his greatness in chance creation, not a goal scorer. So we are lacking in that department. And again, if a deal's there to be done for someone that clearly has the ability to score goals, right? You look at his goal record for PSV Eindhoven, and I know that it is in the Eredivisie. I know it was a few years ago, but he still scored goals in the Bundesliga. You know, Dortmund are a bit of an up and down team in the Bundesliga. He scored goals in the Champions League as well. He's proven in front of goal. On the right wing, again, a major issue. If we are going to go to a 4-2-3-1, our options are Leon Bailey, who again is just so off of it this season, or John McGinn, who doesn't get goals. We need goals coming from our wingers. Rodgers will provide, I'm sure he will. He's only going to get better. He's only going to score more goals. You add in MALEN for £20 million or 20 million euros, it's not the worst thing in the world. And if the signing does happen, if it does all go through, I will be 100% backing him to do well in a Villa shirt. And then we move on to Antonio Silva. Again, a bit left field. It's a loan with an option to buy. It's a lot of money. He's 21 years old. He's not particularly good in the air. He's right-footed. Konsa, you would imagine, would hold down that right centre-back spot. But again, it's a bit of a unique opportunity because Pau Torres is probably going to be out for a long time. Tyrone Mings, not pictured in training recently. So it means that we might just, out of necessity, have to play with two right-footed centre-backs this season. And a loan to scout him out is not the worst thing in the world, right? As long as we're not bringing him in to shift Konsa over to the right-back option, as long as it's not an obligation to buy as well, because the worst thing is if it's an obligation to buy for 40-odd million, he comes in and he's just not good enough for the Premier League, then that could be an issue. But if it's an option, if it's something that we have to do to use that loan market without too much impact on the club, look, this guy's being touted for Barcelona, Manchester United, who I know are not great at the moment, but it's still Manchester United, right? Juventus. He clearly got something about him. 17 caps for Portugal by the age of 21. Over 100 appearances for Benfica, who regularly win titles in Portugal by the age of 21. There's something special about him. That passing accuracy is very attractive to Unai Emery, right? Building out from the back. They're all good signings. They all have a lot of potential. And if both get over the line, we've improved. And that's the main thing we need to do this January. Improve. I hope if both do go through, there's still a right back and probably another defender coming in. But this, considering it's January the 2nd as I record this video, is a fantastic start to the transfer window in terms of the types of players that we're being linked with. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for all the support recently. We're on the road to 3K. Peace.